Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. R.S. Sharma to demystify conversational commerce on ONDC for us.
Well, friends, good afternoon to you all. Essentially, today a word which is in quite a currency is called digital public infrastructure. Many of you must have heard this, word, and in the G20 conference which took place, there is a special mention of digital public infrastructure, and also the fact that India has been at the forefront of creation of such digital public infrastructure. So let me deal with that first, and then I'll come to ONDC. So essentially, in 2009, which is about 15 years back, India began its journey on creating digital identities for each person. Because we realized that in India, there was a large number of people who did not have any provable digital or non-digital identity. Many people did not go to school and therefore did not have any kind of certificate, any kind of identity. People did have family ID, like ration card, where they used to get ration, but there was no digital identity. There's no identity per se, individual identity. The result was that in any formal system, when you go, the first question is asked, who are you? And prove that you are who you claim to be. Show me some document. So they were not able to open a bank account. They were not able to access any formal system of benefit delivery. That was problem number one. Problem number two was that there were many benefit delivery systems in which people were gaming the system by creating multiple identities, multiple and ghost identities. So therefore, there were duplicates and ghosts, and which were resulting in huge leakages of the benefit delivery programs, whether it is some kind of old age pension and other things. So we set out to do, how can we create only one identity per person? And in a population of 1.3 billion, it is not a trivial task. It's 1/6 of humanity, imagine. So we set out to do, and we created the identity. Fortunately, that became successful, and today all kinds of programs are actually this identity is used as a base for conducting many transactions. So that was the beginning of what we now call the digital public infrastructure. So digital identity, next generation digital identity, on which you can prove by authenticating remotely as to who you are, and in a very, very, non-repudiable manner, if you can establish your identity, this identity can open bank account, this identity can do many, many things. And today, you will be happy to know that 100 billion authentications have been done in the last about 10 years, 100 billion. Similarly, we have, electronic KYC, that concept of eKYC, whereby you can open a bank account sitting at home. So that was our first digital public infrastructure which we created. And then we realized that, if you create such infrastructure and allow that infrastructure to be open to the people and let people build applications on top of it, you don't do everything. This is just like a protocol. This is just like a structure you create and then allow people to innovate on top of it. You don't do everybody's work. That is actually the philosophy with which we started. We also started on a philosophy that, look, for a country as diverse and as big as India, you need to have certain characteristics of any digital public infrastructure. One is, it should be frugal. It should not cost, right? India is an extremely cost-sensitive country. So that is one part. It should be frugal. It should be scalable. It has to, scale very fast. It also has to be interoperable. If you don't make it interoperable, then maybe some monopolies will develop and somebody will just corner all the things, There's only one Amazon, right? There's only one Facebook in this world. There used to be some platform called Orkut. You remember? No, it doesn't exist anywhere. So basically, all these digital systems have the propensity to become monopolistic because of the proprietary APIs which they create. And therefore, we realized it has to be interoperable. Interoperability is also scalability, interoperability, frugality, inclusivity. India, as I said, India has the largest number of illiterates in the world. It also has the largest number of PhDs in the world. So we are an extremely diverse country from every sense of the term. So therefore, any structure has to be inclusive. All these considerations we actually incorporated. And of course, privacy. You have to build privacy in any digital public infrastructure as a design. So there's some concept called privacy by design. And that is how all these things were built into this digital identity. And of course, when you build a solution, build it on a completely commoditized way. Don't use proprietary technology. So make you open source, open API, open standards. These are broad sort of overarching principles on which we made that. And this we used to build what is called the next generation payment infrastructure, which is the unified payment interface. It is nothing but actually a set of protocols. So what we did was that, the banks were doing their own banking systems and they had developed the apps. SBI had dealt online SBI and somebody had done something else. So they were all essentially UPI is an effort to decouple the banks from the payment transactions. So you became payment service providers, which need not be any bank, and you can now associate multiple bank accounts with that. And it is nothing but a set of protocols. And today we are doing more than 10 billion transactions on UPI. And the beauty of it is absolutely free. So I can transfer 1 cent to you, and then you will get 1 cent, not even 0.99 cents. That's the way it is operating. The whole the merchant discount rate and other kinds of things have been just done away with. And making a payment in India is as simple as making a phone call, probably simpler than that. So this is the second stuff which we made. And we realized what is important is A, you make standards, B, you make structures which are commonly used structures. So for example, we built the third digital public infrastructure we built was for about health. So in health, what you need is certain registries. You need, doctors registry, nurses registry, health facilities registry, and essentially these kinds of things so that they can be used by everybody, ecosystem part. But allow and make standards and protocols and then allow the ecosystem to kind of, innovate. That is how we began on the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, which was launched in September of 2021, pretty recently. And now we have got that confidence that, look, this is the best way. There are two extremes. One is everything is done by private sector. And if everything is done by private sector, then obviously everyone will have proprietary APIs, proprietary systems, proprietary platforms. And therefore, soon what will happen is that only 1 or 2 guys will survive. The rest will all, go into the dustbin of history. On the other hand, if you make everything government, governments are pretty bad in delivering services. So therefore, you have examples of websites and portals in the departments where they don't update even the name of their officers or secretaries. You must have seen that. So that's again a bad approach. The balance lies in create the framework. It's like an architecture, it's like a scaffolding you create and then allow others to kind of enrich it, build rooms, build usable products out of it. That's how it should be done. And then we realized after health, payment, identity, we realized that now we should go into other domains as well. And now this ONDC, Open Network for Digital Commerce, is actually the effort, which is again a set of protocols. And where we are trying to create a network of sellers and buyers and then, everybody, and protocol-based network. Everybody could connect to everybody else. That's the vision. And why that is important is that many of these digital commerce platforms have become highly, non-competitive, monopolistic. They are charging very huge amount of commissions, and small people are not able to onboard that. And what is required, and one of the biggest challenge in that platform is how do you create, how do you onboard these sellers and buyers? And the sellers which we are targeting in ONDC are the ones who are poor people in the villages, craftsmen, some skilled people who are selling something and who don't have a market. They don't even have the wherewithal to go onto the Amazon platform and then start selling. They don't have the kind of packaging stuff. So one is unbundle the logistics from the, actual products, and then try to create an ecosystem where it is an open system. Now, the difference between the protocol-based approach and the proprietary platform-based approach is that in a platform, everybody has to be on the same platform. The buyer has to be on, Amazon. The seller has to be on Amazon. Buyer has to have an Amazon app. This is how it works. What we are doing is actually transforming that and democratizing the access by essentially just creating a set of protocols, and any app or any system which satisfies the protocol is now joins the ONDC. It is similar to, suppose I want to send a WhatsApp message, right? We talked about WhatsApp. I can only send a message to that person who has got WhatsApp, right? But if I want to send an SMS, I can send SMS to anybody, because SMS is based on protocol, WhatsApp is based on their own proprietary protocol. This is the basic difference. So what is important is, it's like mail. For example, if I am on Gmail and you are on Rediff Mail, or somebody is on somebody, I don't have to bother. I just have to write your email address and the mail goes. It goes because it works on what is called SMTP, the Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So a protocol-based approach ensures that I don't have to really, test the product again with one-to-one. As soon as I'm certified to be satisfying that protocol, I'm a part of that network. So this is what we are doing in ONDC. And I'm happy to say that in terms of mobility, in terms of, local grocery and other kinds of things have really improved tremendously. What is needed is essentially create a system whereby small sellers could immediately be onboarded. And I think there, the platforms like WhatsApp and platforms like other simple platforms which can actually accelerate the process of creating the catalog, creating the content, they become extremely useful. We are not against platform, but what we are creating is essentially creating a platform of platform, where one platform becomes a node of that network so that the platform becomes interoperable. And that's the broad idea of ONDC. I hope we will be able to solve the problem of onboarding all these small people. Thank you so much.